Good evening and welcome to 4FSU Weather. It is Tuesday evening on the first day of October in 2013. I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton.
And I'm student meteorologist Troy Fields. And Shane, it was a not too shabby day today weather-wise, wasn't it?
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. It was warm, yes, but nice and breezy, and it was a great day to walk between buildings in between our classes.
Yes. But where they're not seeing this gorgeous weather is in the Northwest, where they're still seeing the effects of the Northwest winter storm that hit over the past weekend.
Oh yeah, definitely. Lots of moisture came in off the coast from Typhoon Pabuk, and that brought drenching rain to the Northwest, especially over Washington and Oregon.
Yes, and that brought, and along with the heavy rain, we want to mention some rainfall totals, because some cities in the Northwest, they broke all-time record rainfalls for this month, including Seattle, where they got 6.21 inches of rain and shattered the previous record of 5.9 inches.
Yeah, that is really impressive. They also saw a particularly impressive amount of rainfall in Astoria, where they saw over 10 inches of rain over the month of September with this system. Just remarkable. And another detail about this system, it had a pressure, and for those of you who don't know, pressure indicates the intensity, lower than any other hurricane we've seen this season.
Yes, and along with that, they saw very, very high winds, gusts as high as 85 miles per hour. But in the meantime, we're going to shift to your overview with Jonathan. And John, just give us the rundown what's going to happen in the show.
That's exactly what I'm going to do right now. Fortunately for us, we don't have any hurricanes anywhere near our area, or typhoons as they call them in the Pacific. What we do have is a big bubble of no trouble. That's high pressure in control right now and keeping it a little bit cloudy, a little bit sunny, a mix of sun and clouds around the area. It's going to bring in a lot more moisture as we head in towards the end part of this week. And that tropical moisture is also going to come up from the south over the next 5 or 6 days as the tropical system comes in from the Caribbean right ahead of the next cold front. And that cold front is going to be slow. We're talking about coming in for the next week. But we're heading back 1 month. Back at this time last month, we were heading into the month of September. Temperatures ranged right around 80 degrees if you combine the highs and lows for the top and the bottom of the day each day for the last 30 days. And rainfall was at 3 inches and 3.17 inches for the last month. That's over 1.5 inches below normal. What do you think about that at the desk?
Well, John, just all this rain. We had such a gorgeous weekend. It's really beautiful, wasn't it, Shane?
It was really wonderful. It was a great day to get outside, just experience the weather around campus. But now we've got a historic event of the season to talk about. The first winter storm is taking shape over the Rocky Mountains right now. Troy's,
yes,
what's the details?
And that is due to that storm that would affect the Northwest, and it's going to collide with the cold air coming from Canada and colliding with the warm air drawn from the Gulf of Mexico that could lead to the chances for snowfall of the season.
Yeah, it could, definitely. The earliest chances of snowfall are on Thursday. There could be snow in the Rocky Mountains moving over Wyoming, moving into the Dakotas and to Minneapolis and Minnesota by the weekend. And now let's send it out to Nina for a look at the local.
Thank you, Shane. Here today in Tallahassee, we saw our high was 87, right on par with our average of 85. It was a little bit cloudier this afternoon across the area, and our low was around 68 last night at the airport. Very cool and very comfortable. Current conditions in the area, 85 degrees, mostly cloudy outside. You may not be able to see too much of that sunset as we go into the evening hours throughout the rest of the night. 65 degrees as a dew point. Starting to get more muggy in the area as we approach the weekend and bringing in more moisture into our local area. Current temperatures, 88 degrees in Bainbridge, 82 in Quincy, 85 in Tallahassee. Around the area, 80s across the board. Very comfortable outside as we start cooling off into the fall. We are looking for that to be fantastic and the weather to start cooling down and being great, but we will start seeing some rain chances increasing as we head into the rest of the week and the weekend. All of this moisture in the area of New Orleans pushing through to the northeast. We could be seeing some of that. We could also be seeing some of the moisture from 97L, the water vapor showing this as well. All of the moisture in New Orleans pushing through. A little bit of a dry spot above Tallahassee and Savannah, but that moisture is going to start picking up as we head through the rest of the week and into the weekend. Now, Futurecast. That high is pushing up a little bit further into the north is above Georgia and Alabama and South Carolina right now, but as it moves to the north, there's going to be that low 97L pushing up to the north as well, creating this moisture trough. It's going to be funneling in all of that rain, and heading into the weekend, those rain chances are going to be picking up. But we will see that the beach forecast going to be fantastic. East winds 15 miles per hour, surf 1 to 2 feet. Great day to go out to the beach if you're not busy. When the water temperature is sitting at 80 degrees, starting to cool down as we head into the fall, but very comfortable outside. But you still want to wear that heat. You're going to want to wear the sunscreen if you're out there. Boating forecast as well, east 10 to 15 knots. Slight chop, you might want to be wary of that if you are going to go out on the boat on that fine Wednesday. But tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy skies, possible chance of rain, not very much to worry about. 64 in Bainbridge, 65 in Tallahassee, a little bit warmer. 70 in Carabel, but tomorrow is going to be fantastic again. Showers possible, not too much to worry about in the area. 89 in Bainbridge, 88 in Tallahassee, a little bit cooler, 87 in Carabel. But step out the way, 7-day forecast. It's going to be beautiful, 80s across the board and 60s, but those chances of rain are going to increase into the weekend. But I'm going to hand it off to Braden for the Southeast.
All right. Thank you, Nina. A great job on your first segment here at FSU Weather, and we would like to welcome you to the FSU Weather team. We're going to go ahead and take a quick look at your southeast satellite and radar, and you'll see a bunch of storms out by Louisiana and down in Miami, Florida as well. Moisture starting to come up from Invest 97L, and that moisture is going to continue to move into our area over the next couple days. Rain chances remaining low until the weekend, but we're definitely going to be keeping our eye on the tropics over the next couple days. We'll head back to your current temperatures real quick, and you'll see 85 in Tallahassee, 82 in Orlando, 81 up in Savannah, Georgia, 78 in Atlanta. So the more north you get, the cooler you get. That cold front is going to start moving through over the next couple days, so it's going to be looking pretty nice. Here's your water vapor imagery. All this moisture around New Orleans, that's where you're seeing all that rain, showers, and thunderstorms, excuse me, out on the radar map. But above that, dry air, that dome of high pressure still over the Carolinas, still dominating the weather around that region. So it's going to be looking very nice over there over the next couple of days. But moisture is going to continue to funnel into our area over the next couple of days due to that disturbance out in the Gulf. Again, like I said, Carolinas just dominating the region. Some little small showers in western Tennessee. But other than that, up there, nothing to speak of. But down in Louisiana, showers abundant. A couple thunderstorms, especially off the coast, that might be moving in. That moisture is going to continue to our western areas, but our rain chances are going to increase for us over the next couple days in our western areas. Right now, locally, just a bunch of false reflectivity, nothing in the way of precipitation to speak of, so there isn't going to be much over our area. But that high pressure, again, in control over the Carolinas, moisture to our west and to the south of us. But Wednesday into Thursday, that moisture is going to start expanding, and Invest 97L, this disturbance out in the Gulf, is going to continue to work its way up and bring more moisture into our area. For tonight's forecast, you'll be looking at 65 in Tallahassee, 72 in Orlando, way warmer down, 78 in Miami, 81 out in Key West. So those summer-like temperatures down there are still there, getting a little taste of fall. Not as cool as we would like it, but tomorrow, looking at 88 in Tallahassee, 88 out in Orlando, 88 in Miami as well. A couple rain showers to the south of us and to the west of us again. We're looking pretty good for tomorrow, and I'll be back for your tropical update in a little bit. But right now, Shane, Troy, what time is it?
Hey, thanks, Braden. Well, it's that time of show again. This day in weather history, excuse me. And Troy, we're going to turn back the clock about 300 years. Tell us.
The year is 1752, folks. And that year we had a severe hurricane that hit the Carolinas. Tell us more about that, Shane.
It did hit the Carolinas, and it was reported that the Onslow County Courthouse was completely destroyed along with all its records. A real shame. The 1700s, they didn't really keep complete records, and we lost those. Yes. And Beacon Island completely disappeared. Mm-hmm.
But we're going to fast forward to the year 1988, a little bit more recent, and we did have quite a severe weather on this state. We currently late afternoon severe thunderstorms, of course.
Oh yes, definitely the memorable thunderstorms that hit central Oklahoma and eastern Texas with some remarkable hail. There was up to softball-sized hail in the northwest of Nocona. And some more hail, wasn't there, Troy?
Yes, and of course, hail can be very damaging to the car, especially baseball-sized hail, and just really not something you want to see. But we're gonna take a quick look at your national. We can just pull up those current conditions graph. There we go. Current, just very warm across much of the southeast. Temperatures baking in the 80s, 80 degrees in New Orleans, and 93 degrees in San Antonio. So it's the story. Really, really warm. In the northwest, really cooler temperatures sitting at the 50s. So that is due to the influence of the storm system, just bringing these cooler temperatures. But we're going to advance towards here just to show you how much our temperatures have changed over the past couple of days. Note this divide. That is the cold front that will be influencing our weather later on down the road. And ahead of it, behind it, just really, you see how much things will cool down with 8-degree change in Denver. But on the other side of the cold front, lots and lots of warmth in the eastern sections of the United States with temperatures, ranging from 5 to 10 degrees above normal. So really just really, really warm in that region. And now we're going to look ahead at your satellite and radar nationwide, and we're going to focus our attention in the southeast. We're going to zoom in right in there for you. Lots of sporadic showers popping up along the coast of Florida. Not a washout by any means, but the bulk of it is really just around the Bahamas area and also towards the I-10 corridor. And you can't see on your screen, but just focus around New Orleans. But we're going to shift our focus to the northwest. As I mentioned, they're still seeing effects of that winter-like storm system that just moving them through earlier in the weekend, and you see all the rain showers along the I-5 corridor, even snow in the higher elevations. So for those of you traveling along I-5 or just any local roads, you want to make sure that you just be on the lookout for any flash flooding, or just stay safe on the road so you don't slip in. Really your life is more important at that. But we're going to shift our focus to the northeast, clear weather at that, so smooth sailing around there. And we're just going to zoom out for your weather. Again, there's one more look at the weather across the country with the southeast still seeing showers along the I-10 corridor. Airport delays not looking too bad, so good air travels at that. Tonight's forecast, more mildness in the southeast, 73 degrees, and New Orleans with cool temperatures along the northwest, 50 degrees, and Salt Lake City. And shifting out towards tomorrow's forecast, more warmth along the east coast, 89 degrees in Memphis and 54 degrees in Billings. But we're going to take it out to your local with Shane. And Shane, tell them more about what's going to happen over the next couple of days.
Thank you, Troy. Well, it's been very nice the last few days. We saw a high, or it's currently 85 degrees rather, here in the capital city under partly cloudy skies. But the nice conditions just aren't going to last. Moisture is in the forecast. Now, around the greater Big Bend region, again, it's 85 here in Tallahassee, 88 in Wilma, 86 in Bainbridge. So you can see a pattern. We're all across the 80s here in the Big Bend region. Fairly comfortable, but a little bit warm, considering these dew points out there. 66 in Tallahassee, 70 in Monticello, and 68 in Bainbridge. And when a dew point gets above 70, it's kind of humid and sticky out, so we're not quite there, but it is noticeably warm and a little bit moist in the air. However, our radar, well, taking a look, there's really not much to see. We didn't really take in any real precipitation today. You can just see some passing clouds that gave us a little bit of shade during lunchtime today, but it's been really nice. But we can see some flecks of rain coming up from the west. That's associated with some tropical moisture out in the Gulf of Mexico that could be coming our way later this week. Let's talk about that now. Well, this high pressure system remains centered over the Carolinas, and the air associated with that moving clockwise is just beginning to push in some moisture from the Gulf. It's maintained pretty nice temperatures over the last several days, but we're going to see more moisture come in. Let's take a look at that. Here we see a low come in from the Gulf of Mexico. This is a tropical disturbance, but it's not really slated for development. We're just going to see a lot of rain with it. It's going to come up to our area by Thursday, and we're expecting a considerable bit of a washout from the weekend as these winds just funnel all that moisture right into our area. Our Futurecast radar gives us some idea of what's going to happen, but let's take a look at tonight's forecast. We're giving you a low of 65 degrees tonight with mostly cloudy skies and less than 20% chance of rain. So it's going to be a pretty gorgeous evening. Definitely enjoy it. Go out and take a walk before the rain hits. Same word is in for tomorrow with a high of 88. So it's going to be a little warmer, but remaining mostly sunny with some slightly higher chances of rain in the western area of our viewing area, such as Mariana and Defuniak Springs. Now, tomorrow through the day, we're going to wake up to a high of about 67 degrees when you're putting the kids on the bus to school or us college kids are walking to class. We're going to warm up to about 80 degrees at lunchtime, so it's going to be warm and you can shed any light jackets. And we're going to see 87 at rush hour tomorrow. But the week ahead, we're going to be seeing highs in the low to mid 80s with the greatest chance of precipitation this weekend. And now let's send it out to the desk with John and Nina.
Thank you, Shane. The main source for all that moisture this weekend is actually going to be from the Caribbean. And this time of year is not so good for tropics in Florida.
Yeah, 97L is most definitely, it is going to be bringing a lot of moisture into the area, and especially with the water temperatures around 80 degrees. We're not expecting a tropical formation or a tropical storm from it, but it is going to be bringing moisture into the area.
Yeah, it's going to be bringing a lot of rain for the western tip of Cuba as well as the eastern side of the Yucatan Peninsula. Right now the forecast is for 1 to 3 inches of rain for the northern Gulf Coast.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's expected to hit around Apalachicola and between the 97L, which is a low pressure, and the high pressure above us, there's going to be a trough of a lot of moisture moving in through the panhandle. What do you think about that?
Well, it has been dry as of late, so I'm glad we're going to get some moisture, but hopefully not a tropical system. But we're going to have to take a look elsewhere around Florida for a couple of showers today. Where is it looking like a little bit rainy? Troy?
All right, John, I'm going to have more of that later in the segment, but we're going to show you what's going on with the temperatures right now, and not a lot of variation in those temperatures. Most folks in the Florida Peninsula are seeing temperatures in the 80s, 85 degrees in the capital city, and the 77 degrees being the cool spot in Jacksonville. But as we shift down a little bit further south towards Florida, you still see more of the same 84 degrees in Miami. And we're going to take a quick look at your dew point. And remember, dew point is a good indicator of how much moisture there is in the atmosphere, and is also in turn a good indicator of your humidity. And it's quite a little bit muggy out in the Sunshine State, 66 for your dew point in Tallahassee, and of course naturally with all the closer to the equator, the higher humidity in South Florida, with 70 being your dew point in Miami. But we'll show you our water vapor imagery, and not terribly dry in the upper levels of the atmosphere, but we do have some moisture to work with. See a little bits of green just streaming out of the Gulf of Mexico, and has been influenced our weather over the past couple of days, and that will in turn continue to be the trend for our weather in the next coming days. We're going to show you our satellite and radar. You can see what I mean. There's lots of popcorn showers popping up off the west coast of Florida, but not a washout by any means. So if you have any activities, I wouldn't cancel them at the present time. Just mainly dry along the I-95 corridor. So travels there right now are looking fairly good. And just real quick, we do have flood runners along the west coast of Florida, north of Tampa, especially along the rivers. So, but the weather is right now is dry. So, but still, you want to make sure that if you're traveling around near there, you want to take precaution, turn around, don't drown. Now, let's give you the rundown. What's going to be happening over the next couple of days? There's high pressure to the north, and that was going to shift towards the east. And that, as I already mentioned, lots of tropical moisture going to funnel in due to that southerly wind direction, and our weather is going to turn quite unsettled over the next couple of days. So, if you have any outdoor plans, you might want to change them. Just take a movie, see a movie, or just take a rain check and just study. Lots of college students have lots of exams this week, so not a bad way to do that. But once again, we sent out your forecasts, just lots and lots of rain. Tonight's forecast, mild temperatures, a little bit cooler in Jacksonville, 63 degrees, so not a bad night. If it's not raining, go out, take a walk with your dog, or just take a nightly run if you need to exercise. I know I need to exercise and get out. 70s in the southern Peninsula of Florida. Tomorrow's forecast, as I move on out, 80s along the northern Florida coast, but around southern Florida with the influence of showers and thunderstorms, 88 degrees in Miami. But we're going to take a look at your tropics / natural. Brandon, just tell us, how are things looking?
Things are looking pretty good. We're going to start actually with your month in review. Average temperature for the month of September, 80 degrees, so only about 2 degrees above average. And even though we had a lot of heavy rain at the beginning of September, we ended up with a deficit of about 1.5 inches. Very interesting, especially with all that heavy rain at the beginning of the month. We had 19 days above 90 degrees. Our warmest and windiest day both on September 15th at 96 degrees and sustained winds of 38 miles per hour here at the National Weather Service in Tallahassee. September 27th was the coolest day this month at 62 degrees after the first strong cold front of the season went through. Let's check out your current conditions nationally, looking at 84 degrees out in Memphis, Tennessee, where that cold front has already gone through. 56 in Seattle, Washington, 65, in Billings, Montana. So that cold air is definitely overtaking the northwest as that cold front continues to go through, and you'll see that in that 24-hour temperature change. A clear, defined line right here from a negative temperature change to a positive temperature change, and that is where you are seeing that cold front. And that cold front might be picking up that disturbance in the Gulf, and that will bring you into our tropical update. Let's go ahead and check out your climatology for this month, first day of October, and you're going to see most storms will form out in the southern Caribbean and make its way up, possibly through Florida and up the east United States. That's very interesting because that disturbance that's in the Gulf of Mexico is right about in that area where we would expect development over this month. Storm names so far: Tropical Storm Jerry, not giving us much of a problem out in the Atlantic. We'll get a quick update on that. And Karen is going to be our next storm, possibly that disturbance in the Gulf. Development is a little shaky right now. We're not exactly sure what's going to happen with that. But here's Jerry, sustained winds of 45 miles an hour, gusts to 58. Pressure not looking too nice, only about 1,007 millibars. Not the most organized storm in the world, and it's not really going to affect us. It's just going to kind of move its way out into the Atlantic, not do much in terms of our weather. We'll go ahead and look into your satellite. And there is Jerry again, getting a little spin in there, but again, not really having its act together. Just going to move its way off to the east over the next couple days. But here is what we are going to be watching. This is this disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico that is going to be giving us that rain over the weekend. Again, like I said, just a bunch of clouds and showers right now. Some already moving into southern Florida. So not something that's going to be affecting our weather immediately. But Saturday into Sunday, we're definitely going to have to be on the lookout for it because we could be seeing some flooding depending on the amount of moisture that makes it up. Also looking for some organization here. Again, you can't see much of a spin in there right now, but a closed course circulation absolutely could happen. So we're going to keep an eye on it over the next couple days. We're going to keep you posted. Stay on to FSU Weather just in case, but we're going to go ahead and take us out of this planet right now, back to Mars with Nina and John.
Thanks, Braden. Yeah, definitely. Mars, we have some fantastic news. We've discovered that there is a third ozone layer. What do you think about that, John?
What's interesting about that is they found it on the planet of Mars where our Earth doesn't have an ozone layer.
Yeah, that's very interesting. What else is new about Mars?
What's happened is that they've found this third ozone layer, and they found a process that we don't have here on Earth. What happens with the oxygen molecules is they go up into the atmosphere, just like they do here on Earth, but they break apart because of the light, and then they go back down into the atmosphere and create this ozone layer. And they're not sure exactly why that process is so, because it doesn't happen here on Earth.
Well, that's very interesting. And haven't they also discovered that there is water in the soil?
Yeah, the Curiosity rover in the last week or so has scooped up some soil, and then they heated it up and kind of vaporized the soil and actually got water out of it. The soil that they found was 2% water.
Wow, that's very fantastic, definitely. Is there any other news?
They're going into their summer months, so there won't be so much more research on that ozone layer. But what we will have is a little bit more of a local impact here across the area
here in Tallahassee. What we're going to see here over the next couple of days is high pressure is going to start to scoot out of the area. You can see all that moisture down across southern Florida and up into the northern Gulf Coast. This is all going to start coming off towards the north and east into the mid parts of the southeast over the next couple of days. Right now, though, we're looking at 85 degrees, and we're starting to see that change here with a couple more clouds and a little bit more humidity out there right now coming in on those east winds at 6 miles an hour. Across the area, temperatures are pretty uniform, a little bit cooler down on the coast, 83 at St. Mark's, 82 in Carabel, 86 is the warm spot right now in Bainbridge. This is where we're going to start to see this change with dew point. That's the measure of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere right now. And we're going to start to see these numbers creep up. They're already up in Carabel and Apalachicola, where they're already in the 70s. When you get to 70 degrees with the dew point, that's where you get starting to feel oppressive. That's where you walk outside your door and you start sweating just about immediately. We're not quite there yet in Tallahassee, but I think we'll get there over the next couple of days. That dry air is still in place across the northern parts of our viewing area in Georgia right now. We're going to start to look at that high pressure that I mentioned, and this is going to kind of meander across the Appalachian Mountains right now, bringing in those easterly winds, and gradually, slowly but surely, we're going to see a slow moisture increase. As we head into the middle parts of this week, we're going to see that tropical low come out of the Caribbean and meander around the Gulf just a little bit. And what's unfortunate about this system is we're going to start to see it come in over the weekend. And unfortunately, this is Parents' Weekend here at Florida State. This is going to bring in even more moisture out of the Caribbean and bring it right into the western Florida Panhandle and into Louisiana and the rest of the northern Gulf Coast. That's going to really bring up the rain chances over the next few days and into the weekend. If you're heading out to the beach, we're still going to see some good beach conditions for the next day or so. Waves of 1 to 2 feet, so it might be good to bring out the boogie board or bring out the sun lotion over the next couple of days for another day on the Gulf beaches here. Heading out on the boat, that's where the news is starting to get a little bit mixed. We're going to see 2 to 3 foot seas tomorrow morning before we start seeing a little bit more of a build. So those waves are going to come up to 2 to 4 feet, up to possibly even 5 feet with these increasing winds as that center of low pressure comes a little bit closer. For tonight, we're looking at a couple of spotty showers across the area. Temperatures starting to climb for lows up into the low 70s, up into the upper 60s as well. For tomorrow's forecast, we're looking at upper 80s, 88 in Tallahassee here, 87 in St. Mark's. And here's one more look at your 7-day forecast. We're looking warm. Most of those rain chances for tomorrow are going to be in the western parts of our area. We're going to start to see those rain chances come down just a little bit on Thursday for most of the area, and then we head back to the rain chances right around 50% because of that tropical system coming out of the Caribbean.
Yes, definitely. Welcome back, Don. But are those rain chances going to affect possibly Friday, October 4th when Terror of Tallahassee opens?
It's going to be a little bit dicey. I think we're going to see about a 4 in 10 chance of rain on Friday. If you're heading to Terror of Tallahassee on the weekend, it's going to be even a little bit more dicey.
Yeah, well, as we head into the rest of October, if you are interested in going out and getting your spook on, Terror of Tallahassee is located at 826 Gaines Street, which is right at the intersection of Gaines and Woodward, and they open officially October 4th at 8 p.m. and they go on to 2 a.m. and they are open all weekend long.
And they go all the way until November 2nd, I believe, right?
Yeah, and the closer we get to Halloween, the longer they are open and the more days they are open. But take a look at our 7-day forecast.
Yeah, we do have rain in the forecast this weekend. Too early to say what next weekend's going to hold, but there will be a good weekend in there somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. We want to watch out for those rain chances as we head into next week. But you can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at FSU Weather.
And you can watch us anytime on livestream.com/FSU Weather. I've had a great night with you, Nina. This is your first show. Welcome to the show.
Have a good night.
I am